hope everything's going well, and hopefully you're getting a bit of sleep. I can see your eyeballs are looking so much better now, mate. You got a bit of shine.
They're better than last week. It's the face of father's skincare products that we've got, mate.
There you go, Steve.
I think we're gonna get 50 packs made up as a Father's Day special. So you guys listening or watching this, start hassling the missus. But just tell her to get it, but don't let her try it because she'll steal it. But that should be the logo for this stuff, Ken. It's amazing because my wife Corinne steals it. So good, your missus will steal it. But yes, no, excited to do another episode with you, mate. It's really great to connect with guys like yourself, Ken, and a lot of you guys watching or listening. This is what we live and breathe. This is our environment, having men who are dedicated to excellence. And today, our episode's the Pillars of Health. And what that actually means, we've spoken about really going for key areas. Last week's episode was really built around sleep, but finding that low-hanging fruit and going for the greatest return on investment, which is absolutely, from what we've seen, always rejuvenating the body for the next day ahead in sleep. But this one is really going to pepper around the physical, chemical, and emotional pillars of health. But Ken will absolutely be able to explain this better. But pillars of health are really huge, especially in the modern world and especially in times like today. When we're talking about, we're on the level, we're all about self. I'm not a huge fan of the word empowerment. We're about, really ownership and self-improvement and really investing in you to be 100% everyone else around you. That is a critical thing, taking full ownership over your own life and leading that standard, not just taking someone's word for it, including ours. We're not telling you what to think, we're telling you how to think. And this is where I guess Ken and I, which we do have personal stories, Ken will share a few more, where even some high-profile doctors, fuck me dead, they miss the mark so many times. It's quite frustrating because of how they're put on a pedestal as basically God because they've gone through some sort of indoctrination system that elevates them above society. Nothing pisses me off more than that, Ken. The perfect example is one of our members had a hernia operation, went to the doctor, and the doctor told him, now, mate, look, you can't do any upper body training, but you can do leg raises and sit-ups. I was like, you're fucking kidding me, man. A hernia operation. Like, nothing will tear your abs to pieces and tear what you've just had stitched up and repaired. They're doing those two exercises. Like, holy shit, man. And my GP's a nightmare. It was so hard just to get him to fucking let me do my blood work for you, Ken, to the point where I had to make multiple consults. And I'm not saying all GPs, but not, every industry has shit and great, but this guy's definitely a glorified clerk. Went to him once with an issue when I had a histaminal reaction with my immune system. Everything's run down. Old mate right in front of me just starts typing it in Google and looking at images. I couldn't fucking believe it, man. But again, this isn't about hacking shit on doctors. This is about you being a free thinker and investing in yourself and investigating what's best for you. And one of the greatest ways is building a foundation through the pillars of health. Ken, mate, talk to us. Where are we going with this? Let's crack on into it.
Yeah, it's a very, very sensitive subject for me, and I've had lots and lots of personal experiences, and I suppose this is what drives me so intensely to what I do and what I believe in and what legacy I want to leave. About really exactly what you were saying now is taking control of your own health and wellness. And again, like as we've spoken previously, the thing is people may think that wealthy is about money, but that's just the biggest load of shit, because if you haven't got your health, then wealth is not worth anything. So the big things for me and trying to create the pillars of health and knowing what the quick fixes are, what levers to pull to try and help people fast track their way or their new life into something that I believe is most important. Looking at the natural remedies, looking at not prescription drugs, looking at things that we can do that's low cost, especially there's so many things at our fingertips right now that we can change on a daily basis, like instantly, and see results where when we, exactly what you're saying, when we go to different allied health professionals, what you'll find is that when there's a consultation and whatever else, generally what the allied health professional is doing is asking what your symptoms are. And so I get it. The thing is, we all present with symptoms, no matter what it is, whether it's fatigue, whether it's muscle soreness, whether it's diarrhea, headaches, whatever else it is. And the thing is, I get it when there's pain in the body and we need to understand and we need to treat those symptoms. But really, what I'm all about is looking for the root cause. I'm looking for this systemic process. Everyone is going to be reactive rather than proactive. And so that's why the pillars of health is to know what level. So level 1 being entry level. If all of a sudden I haven't exercised for 3 months, 6 months, I've never exercised. Okay, what's my starting point? Where do I start? You know what? All we need to really do when it comes to physical exercise is not necessarily go out and go for a sweat session or go and do some crazy ass run, half marathon, full marathon. It's really about just breathing, starting to get the diaphragm moving, starting to kind of improve on your posture. Go for a walk, like suck in the fresh air, get some sunshine, things like that. So when we look at those types of things, they're real simple, no cost to you. It's at our fingertips. But knowing where to start is what's most important. Then when we start to dig into the emotional stuff and how it affects our body and how it affects our mindset, like the most important thing to reduce stress levels is to do a little bit of breathing technique. Again, breathing will affect your emotional thoughts, but also it'll affect your physical thoughts. So then, your physical well-being. So there's an overlap there. So then once we get into your chemical side of things, guess what? If you do some breathing, then it increases and helps with the digestion. So all we've got to do is implement some kind of breathing practice, 3 minutes, 5 minutes a day, depending on what you've got. Then now we're affecting your physical, your emotional, and your chemical well-being. So all of a sudden, classic example, I go into the doctors, they go, okay, what's your symptoms? Well, I've got a bit of a headache. The hours I'm working at work is long. What are you going to do? Well, I don't think you're that well. Maybe we need to look at some kind of medication. What do we need to do? We need to go, well, the first thing I'm going to do when you do a consult with me is go, okay, so how's your breathing been? I'll have a look at their breathing. When I say, how's their breathing been? I'll kind of watch as they're sitting there talking to me. Are they shoulders square? Are they quite agitated? Is there stress within their life? What's your nutrition like? Do you have any pain or discomfort? How's your relationship going? And things like this. And I'll start to build a little bit of a profile with this person. Then I'll go, okay, so then let's start to look at maybe some natural alternatives. Let's look at, let's do some breathing stuff for 3 minutes a day. I'll teach them how to do a real simple breathing technique and we'll go through that. Then I'll have a look at their nutrition. I'll say, okay, how much shit food are you eating? Where is the nutrition that you're eating? Let's talk about hydration. Then from there, do you move at all a day, or do you sit on your ass in front of a computer for 2, 3, 5 hours a day? What type of work do you do? So all of these little things are compounding one after another after another. And so what I want to do is I want to kind of check what's going on with and try and make some little 1% changes within someone's lifestyle to then start to see if that has any change. Then I'll communicate with them and see what I need to implement from a day-to-day basis or a week-to-week basis to see what's working for them and what's not working for them. So really what we're looking for is the stepping stones to lifestyle optimization. I want to try and eliminate the discomforts, the pain on their day-to-day life, and then start to change what they're doing and create a lifestyle change for them. So in here, what's most important, we've got to think about your mindset. We've got to think about your physical well-being. We've got to think about your chemical well-being, and all of these things are compounding, and we've got to make the changes one by one.
And you can't have that if you don't have someone invested in your life, Ken. This is the value of having a finger on the pulse. A lot of guys clearly listening to this aren't members, and that's okay. But if you can do it, you should do it, which is why our standard is by having such a close-knit community that's actually close-knit because of how invested the coaches are in these men's lives. When they win, we win. It's a pretty simple philosophy, fam. We've got shirts that say, all right, when dads win, everyone wins. Well, when they win, we win, because this is what builds results. This is what builds fulfillment and reward for us as coaches, mentors, experts in this field to help fathers the right way moving forward. But this is a universe for everyone, man. Like whether you're training in a gym, you've got a nutritionist, you've got a life coach, anyone in any area, like they need to be invested in your life to build these little compound returns on investment by actually analyzing what it's like to be upstream and get the foundations done first. Everyone's on the edge of the waterfall about to fall off, mate, clinging to a rock when you go upstream. When what I mean by that is symptoms, like you said. These are the symptoms. All right, let's mask those symptoms, or let's band-aid or patch up those symptoms instead of going to the cause. Or even if you don't have that from a medical point of view, this is where I want to improve my life as a human being. No worries. Hard part is so many people try and be Vikings, mate. And this is where so many get it wrong. They still don't go upstream and find the fundamental basics of what you mentioned, your breath work, your vitamin D, your hydration, your nutrition. Not that we're saints, but at least getting 80% whole foods, and whole foods are delicious. Like, don't tell me that you're not eating anything that doesn't cast a shadow, or you're living on grass. You can eat a lot of amazing and delicious whole foods. Hard part is, can people chase things like, obviously the dopamine hits and in return they get on that, social acceptance and validation, extremes, perceived power. What does that look like? It's all the modern day craze of the fucking Spartan races and these, 3,000 push-up challenges and all this other shit that takes so much energy, effort, and time, and takes them even further away from where they actually holistically should be, mind, body, and soul, or like you said, physically, chemically, emotionally. It just crushes them, man. And then here comes another year. It's September, it's October, November, start sinking some piss again, all the carnivals or races or grand finals or parties or barbecues, warm weather. Christmas is here. Oh, here we go. It's December 31st, 2021. Let's set some New Year's resolutions again that will fail in the next 28 days. Like, bloody hell, man. Like, it's crazy. But what are those levels, Ken? Like, we've got guys who come to us at different chapters and stages, but what is level 1, 2, or 3, or however you put it and package it together to help these guys who aren't in a position where they either, are committed or they're not ready for us, or maybe they don't want to join our movement, which is cool, but they enjoy what we give. Let's help educate some of these guys to give them some action they can start taking. What does that look like? How do they triage themselves or self-diagnose? Like, what would be your expertise in that area, your expert advice to start navigating where to go?
Yeah, mate. So the thing is, when we look at that and we do look at what the entry level is, and when we consult with each and every individual person, people need to take care of their health first before weight loss comes into it, because weight loss isn't, that's subsidiary to really trying to get their health right first, as in the multi other factorial things that consider. And when it comes to people wanting to what's the main thing they want, I'm always kind of hammered with weight loss. Let's talk about weight loss. But if you've got poor habits and you're not willing to change, then nothing else is like going to help you. Like, you've got to change these poor health habits, and you've got to be able to think about it. That's a mindset. It's knowing what level to start with. And so to go through those pillars and just kind of talk about the physical side of things, the first thing we need to do is start some kind of breathing technique, because again, there's an overlap in the chemical and also the emotional well-being. So I'm looking to give you something that's going to give you a biggest bang for your buck, that is absolutely overlapping every aspect of the pillars that I'm working with. So when we talk about your breath work, then we're talking about just go for a walk. I want to get you to move. I just want to get you to kind of increase your metabolism, and we just want to get you to move so that you start to be able to get some kind of daily practice, whether it be 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes a day. Like, it's something real simple. Then once we start to dig into that, then I can do an assessment, a biomechanical assessment, and we can start to look at, okay, where are your limitations in your ankle, in your knees, in your hips, in your lower back? Do you have any pain on a daily basis? Then what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll create a mobility program for you. So there's level kind of 2, because at the start, level 1 is just getting you to move and just getting you to breathe like someone that should spend, on an average of 3 minutes a day trying to correct their breathing, which is going to help their posture. Then from there, we start to build a stability program in, and potentially a strength program to help them increase or maintain the muscle they've got, so that, again, which I've spoken about in previous episodes or previous podcasts, once you hit the age of 30, you lose 1% of your lean body mass every year right up until you're 75. And if you don't use it, you will lose it. And the important thing about longevity and healthy, or to stay active and keep your health and wellness, is about maintaining that muscle. And it's really simple to do. So then we can dig into the nutrition side of things. But then as we step into kind of a level 3, level 4, okay, now you've got an injury. So now we're talking about red flags, whether it's a lower back or 7 out of 10 people throughout their lifetime will have an acute lower back injury. So then there's something there. Is it the lower back? We've spoken about this previously. Is it a problem with their ankle? Is it related to their hip? Is it related to a direct blow, an old accident, exercise, whether it be playing football, playing netball, playing tennis, whatever it is? It's an underlying issue. Or is it a poor postural issue that you keep kind of overlapping, turning to one side in your office, the way you drive, maybe your son, your daughter, your wife kind of, you're wrestling with them, having a bit of fun, you're throwing a ball, you're catching, I don't know, whatever it is, and it's created a problem. So now we step into starting to create a correctional program for you. And then once we start to go into that, then we might go, okay, someone wants to go, right, I want to compete in some kind of an event, a half marathon, maybe just to kind of, there's a reunion and they want to play touch football or whatever it is. And so then I start to build a program for them. So we're getting into level 4, and then you want to then all of a sudden get into a level 5 where you want to become, for your age, a masters, an elite athlete. And then we start to program really kind of high level elite stuff, whether it be cardio, strength, a bit like for yourself, Al, for so like going into the CrossFit Games. So that's kind of the physical side of things. But remember, if we don't do the breathing at the start, then all of a sudden everything else is going to be affected. Your posture is going to be compromised. Your digestion is going to be compromised. And then all of a sudden you're sitting down, as in technology is being introduced, and then we're compromising our exercise program because we're sitting at a computer for 2 or 3 hours a day or 4 hours a day. Then when we get into the chemical side of things, what's the first thing? What's level 1? Well, you know what? I'm going to have a look at what we spoke about before, 80-20 rule. Are you eating whole foods or are you eating shit food? So I'm going to get a snapshot of what you're consuming. As I get into that a little bit more, is it protein? Is it fats? Is it carbohydrates? Are they good proteins? Are they shit proteins? As in, are you having deep fried chicken from KFC? Or are you having a nice piece of breast chicken grilled and things like that? So then, but you know what? Even before that, if it's possible, if you want to spend a little bit of money, go to your doctor, get a full blood count. Now I look at your foundational work to see what you may be malnourished of from your vitamins and minerals. So we're starting to get into the science side of things. Okay, so then what we have a look at, we can get into like food intolerances, we can get into food toxins, we can get into looking at how much sugar are you taking into your diet? Are you drinking alcohol? Are you taking non-prescription drugs? Are you smoking? Are you looking at supplements? Are you drinking enough water for the day? Are we looking at shit water that we're consuming? Are we looking at structured water? So there's multiple levels that we can introduce it. But like I said, the first thing I'm going to do a level 1 with a chemical side of things is having a look at your diet. Hydration, nutrition. How good is the quality of food that you are consuming? So then we tap into, and that's kind of a brief review on the chemical side of things. One thing I want to just kind of tap into on the chemical side of things, when people start to talk about trying to fix their immune system and everything else, and we talk about someone that may be, say, not getting enough rich folate foods in their diet, their B vitamins and all of that stuff. Just to give you a little statistic in here while I'm on the chemical kind of side of things. If you don't have rich, high folate foods, then there's all sorts of other mechanisms can cause you major issues down the track. Remember, disease doesn't happen overnight. All of these different things that happen with us are basically compounding. Not what you do in one day, not what you do in 1 week, or not what you do in 1 month. Remember, the body rebuilds itself at cellular level, 98% of your body, over 12 months. Then it takes potentially or almost another 2 years to get that other 2% through exfoliation and your body rebuilding itself. So if I have a shit week, it doesn't really matter. We've fallen off the wagon. We can get back on. It's not what you do in 1 or 2 things. It's what you repetitively do. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to create a lifestyle change. This should be lifestyle changes, not okay, let's sort out a 6-week program. Let's sort out a 30-day challenge, but then we implement another 30-day, then we create lifestyle habits. So the statistics will show you, if you don't have enough folate in your diet over a period of not 1 day, 1 week, over 12 months, over 3 years, over 5 years, over 15 years, whatever it is, you can have or increase your risk of cancer from 40 to 70%. So when we talk about that, just by not eating a whole food diet, something that's rich in folate, etc., then think about the systemic things that are going to happen in your life. Then this is where it comes down to when I'm having conversations with people on a day-to-day and week-to-week basis. They go to me, oh, you don't understand. All of a sudden, my sister, my brother, my brother-in-law, whatever, they've contracted cancer. And then I go to them, they say, yeah, but they were fit and healthy. Fucking fit and healthy? By whose? Like, tell me what fit and healthy is. You're fit and healthy, Al, maybe that you can snatch, 100 kilos, or you can run a 6-minute mile or a 4-minute kilometer. But you know what? My 80-year-old, her fit and healthy may be to be able to just climb up the 2 flights of stairs. Don't sit there and talk to me about shit when it comes to my friend or my whatever was healthy. Bullshit. You're looking on the outside and you're looking at someone that may be 10, 15, 20% body fat, but no one, absolutely no one can look at someone and say that they're fit and healthy just by looking at their structure. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Unless you've got blood work, unless you've got all of these scientific things that are underlying that we need to check, you have no idea. This is a guessing game. This is like pulling a needle out of a haystack. You have no idea what's going on there. Cancer disease doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. Bullshit. This is a systemic process. And unless you are creating lifestyle changes, not over a day, a week, a month, it is over 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And this is why we do what we do. Just to stop ranting about that, and sometimes I get a little bit fired up, but this is the conversations that I have on a weekly basis. And people say, how would you know? Mate, I'll tell you how I would know, because I'm fucking living it, breathing it, and I'm implementing this shit every day. You want to have a conversation with me? I'll have a conversation with you for a day on end. I will talk your ears off, and your ears and everything else will be burning like crazy. Put me in front of someone and I don't care. Let's look at the physical, the chemical, the emotional side of stuff, and let's get into the nitty gritty and let's really start talking. Mate, I don't have all the answers, but I'll tell you what, the people that I upskill from, listen to, they have the answers. They have the answers to what technology and what information can produce right now. I can't have a sit down and have a conversation, an extensive conversation with some expert in one field. But you know what? If they talk about nutrition, then I can grab someone else that can go into the nitty-gritty of science and dig and overturn every stone and answer their questions they need to. But on that, as we start to now, and this is something that really gets on my goat a little bit, when we start talking about the emotional side of stuff, mate, meditation is at no cost. It is so simple. What's the entry level on meditation? What's one of the biggest things that causes everyone, and especially now during our pandemic? Stress levels are absolutely through the roof. What's the most easiest thing that we can do now? Spend 3 minutes of breathing, meditating. It's so bloody simple, but people don't want to do that. Look at your sleep. The thing is, it's at our fingertips, but unfortunately, people don't want to really sit down and smell the roses. They just think that they'll just get through their day after day after day, and they don't want to implement anything that's really valuable, or they don't think it's valuable, when the most simple thing we can do with people is just get them to breathe. There is so much research out there right now, and I just kind of want to just share a couple of things really, really briefly, kind of with what can make massive amounts of difference to someone's well-being. Just like real simple stuff like stress, and we talk about emotional stuff here. Stress is generic and it can be psychological or physical. You can have an acute stress. An example of an acute stress or chronic stress is you doing a workout out. But that's something that's good for you. That's going to increase your cortisol levels. How can we reduce that? How can we reduce the cortisol levels? Because we've just putting you through a 45-minute to an hour session. So you've created stress within your body. But get that, what that's doing is it's actually improving your immune system, because you're creating stress on your body to then go through some kind of breathing techniques, which I'll implement and talk you through that, to then help your immune system to become stronger and stronger. So whenever any type of bacterial or viral infection kind of or tries to attack your body, you are building a resilience to be able to fight that viral or that bacterial, I suppose, enemy that's trying to attack your body. Guess what else you can do? The Wim Hof method breathing. What this is to be able to build your immune system, to be able to build up a tolerance and a resilience, so that when, again, something viral or bacterial is trying to attack your body, you've now trained your immune system to actually be a lot stronger to be able to fight that. Like, we talk about different things that are at our fingertips right now, like the story behind Wim Hof, like science and all the scientists, all the doctors were saying with him that he was absolute full of shit about beating, viral infections. Like, they injected him with E. coli, and he was able to kind of create a breathing technique, not some pharmaceutical drugs, just a breathing technique to fight off this viral and this bacterial that's trying to affect his body. And now they've rewritten the science books. So don't talk to me about you need some kind of antibiotic. What you need is literally to start taking control and start to implement these simple things, and talk to us here at HPF and RDM, and we'll show you and we'll teach you and we'll implement things, and we'll kind of do the consult to be able to see what level, physical, emotional, chemical, that you're at now with what you're doing, and we'll implement whichever, I suppose, thing that we need to implement to get the biggest bang for your buck. This is the stuff that is here right now, and we don't need some peanut trying to give us some kind of pharmaceutical prescription drug. I get it, there's a place, there's a time and a place for that. But let's look at the natural remedies first that are at our fingertips that we can implement to make massive changes. Yeah, that's what it's about. Like, taking control of your own well-being. Let's really sit down and think about, when someone wants to hand you some kind of prescription drug, yeah, let's ask the questions first. What are the side effects? Is this long-term? Am I going to take this? Am I going to be addicted to this drug? You know what? I'll tell you what drug I'm addicted to is a healthy life. I'm addicted to doing my breathing techniques. I'm addicted to eating healthy foods. I'm addicted to exercise. You know why? Because my life is fucking brilliant. Yeah? My life is so good that this is why it becomes so infectious with me. Yeah? This is the real deal. Yeah? You don't get no bullshit kind of, temporary fixes with me. This is about implementing lifestyle changes.
Yeah, it's a amazing piece that you just shared, Ken. I love when you get fired up too. Fiery Ken, he always joins us at some stage of the podcast. It's incredible. But yeah, so many great points there, mate. I don't even know where to start and reflect on that. It's really helped me as well. But one of the big ones is absolutely looking at the science. Wim Hof, like, this is a dude who walks barefoot in board shorts around. It's incredible. Like, obviously he didn't go. I don't know if he went to the top in boardies, but he made it pretty far up Everest, or maybe he made it to base camp. But this is incredible. Like, for that guy to fight off viral or bacterial infections or injections inside of his body through breath work, it's incredible. What I guess what gets me, mate, especially the term trust the science, is fuck me dead. What science? Whose science? Who's behind that science? Who's getting paid to promote that science? Like, whether you want to relate what I'm saying now to what's happening right now, or for over the last 100 years. I'm not saying that we should crush or destroy the medical game, but life, our bodies, like the human body is a miracle in motion, Ken, like what you spoke about. As an organism, you're breathing, like literally how you are oxygenating your blood and getting your nervous system and everything aligned through sheer posture and breath work alone. Not even in bringing into account sleep and other forms of really not only staying alive, but thriving. There are layers to this, isn't there, mate? Like, hey, let's not die first. Let's keep your body alive, and now let's get it thriving. And a lot of people don't even get to the thriving stage, mate, and they're focusing on quick fixes just to stay alive. And that's a dangerous thing, mate, because, you know, when we're looking at this, an external measurement of health, I'm sure you'll agree, there's a lot of people out there who could be 14, 15% body fat, who are actually, as an organism, much healthier than someone who's 8, 9, or 10% body fat, depending on what they've done to their body, what they're taking, how they're superficially enhancing that, all the moving parts that overall equals holistic health and a real approach to wealth. That's true wealth for me, Ken. I don't give a fuck how much money someone has. Like, show me real success in family, self, and service as an organism over 80 to 90 years of your life. Show me that first, and then we can look at, you know, what a legacy really means and what your absolute identity is. Where do people go wrong with this though, Ken? Like, is it we get people who get manipulated with money or pieces of paper, whether it's degrees? Is it the industry as a whole? I know there's good and bad in all industries, mechanics or, you know, plumbers, builders, bloody nurses, doctors, personal trainers, life coaches, anyway, teachers. There's always good and bad, but why are we missing the mark as a society, mate? Is it because people aren't educated enough? Is it because they don't ask questions? Like, please understand, guys, where we're coming from, it's not an opinion. It's about teaching you how to think, and how to think comes from asking questions. Just like what Ken was saying, asking quality questions, or not just taking one piece of advice. What I love about Ken, which is why he's so heavily involved with us, is if he doesn't have the answer, he will fucking find it. And when he finds that answer, he finds it and backs it up with multiple sources and multiple ways of validating it, not just taking one stand. If you're going to have an opinion on something, that's great. Are you having the same conviction against what it is you're opposing with what created your narrative in the first place? No, they're not. Too many people just take one form as the answer and that's it, and then they fucking fight to the death for it. What an absolute, like, that's hypocrisy to me. But where are we missing the mark on all this, Ken? I guess I'm happy if you want to share a couple of stories. And then we'll wrap this up with actually giving those listening a pathway. Like, okay, let's start at level 1. What does that look like? Every day, what do we need to do? And 3 days a week, what do you need to do? Physically, chemically, and emotionally. We'll finish with that for you guys in this episode, so you have a real tool belt of level 1 starters. You know, what does a week look like for you? Ken will dive into that. But that first point, Ken, like, what's going wrong here? Why is there such a fucking divide in actual optimal health and the pathway for it?
Mate, I believe the major driver is money. Like, let's be realistic. Like, money is behind this. I've got no doubt. And when you look deeper and deeper into things, again, the biased information that's coming out there, or that's from the news, from the media, and whatever else. Like, I'm sure everyone, well, most people, I believe that they have a good heart, and they mean well. But you can only mean well with the information that you've got at your fingertips. And what we've got to realize here is that there's a reason why we do these podcasts, and there's a reason why we've teamed up, because our legacy, our beliefs, our core values align out. And the trouble is, what I find when I talk to a lot of people is they're followers and they're not leaders. And they're looking for the quick fix. And they're looking for the latest fad. They're looking for something that is going to fast track them in no matter what way or how they can get there. They want to cut corners. Let me tell you one thing. I'm nearly 51 years old and I haven't cut any corners. Yeah, this is the reason why I'm here now. Life is all about the journey. It's all about finding what works for you. It's about your core beliefs. It's about an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. Don't sit there and think that being wrapped in cotton wool and you trying to have a conversation with someone who actually gives a shit about their health and gives a shit about their life is going to agree with the shit that you're talking about. My biggest thing for me is that I've grown up in the country. I've done it hard growing up. I've been, pushed from pillar to post. And I know that that's made me a lot who I am today. It's made me a lot stronger. I've been exposed to no money, a little money, never really had a lot of money, but money drives all of this. And now that the situation I'm in now, where my legacy is about improving people's health, and then I believe the wealth will flow. There's no two ways about it. But again, talking to very, very experienced doctors, professors, and when I look at the depth of their knowledge, I absolutely take my hat off to them because of them committing to 6, maybe 8, 10 years of education and whatever else. But the unfortunate thing is, a lot of them, and I would say the people that I've dealt with when it comes to that level of expertise, I promise you now, 8 out of 10 of them have no fucking idea outside of their specific, I suppose, their specific practice or their specific expertise. And so they're not street smart. Or if they are street smart, my God, they're as dumbass, and they don't really sit down, and maybe because it's a money thing that drives them, because I only have a 15-minute consult with the person they talk to, or a 30-minute consult. I can tell you right now, I am constantly working with people for 2 hours, 3 hours a week, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and I still am trying to find out the best opportunities, the best angles I can get to help some improve something, those 1%ers, so that I can direct them into achieving something greater, better for them, for the people around them. And what is amazing, that here I am right now on just the week that's gone, I've got an absolute Rhodes Scholar of a friend that's dictating to me that my role in the health and wellness industry as a personal trainer, as a life coach, as a massage therapist, as a nutritionist, it is my duty to tell everyone to go and get vaccinated. Now, my duty in this world right now, my is to let people do what they believe is right. Everyone has their own opinion about whatever it is they do in life. All I do is I help people to become healthier. I get people to look at the information, to ask questions. And you know what? At the end of the day, you've got to take control. And when someone at such a high level is dictating to me what I should be doing with my life, they're a fucking hypocrite. And I'll tell you why they're a hypocrite. Yeah? It's because I eat, sleep, and breathe being healthy and my life and the people around me. And this is what I do every day of my life. There is not a day that I can't remember where I'm preaching about better nutrition, about movement, about doing breathing, about all of these things that we're talking about here right now. And yet the person that's dictating to me that it's my duty to tell everyone to go and get vaccinated, yet they take drugs, their life's shit, their relationship's not good. All of these things that they are telling me, and yet they are not doing anything whatsoever to improve their quality of life, and yet they're going in dealing with the general population, the general public. Yet how does that sit when I am having conversations with these absolute so-called professionals, and yet they're the biggest hypocrite that God's ever put breath into, and they're standing, or not standing, but talking to me about what I should be doing? Mate, frontline fucking workers, mate, I'm a frontline worker because every person I come in contact with, yeah, every person, whether I'm in Sydney, at home, on the phone, whether I go on holidays, every person I am having a conversation with them on how to improve their life. You talk about frontline workers that the government's talking about, a nurse, I get it. They go to work for 8 hours. When they walk out of that door, Are they talking to someone about how to improve their nutrition, how to improve exercise, how to lose weight, how to meditate? No fucking way. Yeah? Absolutely no way. So this is what shits me. We talk about frontline workers. My ass. I'll tell you who a frontline worker is and who should be standing on a pedestal and should be standing butt naked in the middle of bloody Martin Place in Sydney and saying, give me hugs, because I'm the frontline worker. Yeah? I should be the one on the pedestal. Yeah? But no. You know what? I don't want any of that gratitude, because I don't give a shit about, I don't want to be recognized and I don't want to be some peanut that has no idea, that doesn't practice what they preach. This is where the bullshit is, mate. This is exactly where the shit is. When you've got all of these professional people and all they're doing it is for this little bit of time, for their 3-5 hours that they're coming in contact. And when they walk out that door, the door closes behind them and hopefully it hits them fair slam in their ass and leaves an impact. But it doesn't, mate, for them, because they only do it for this amount of time. Yeah, I do it 24/7, 7 days a week. I go on holidays, I'm talking to people out improving their life. This is what it's about. And then I've got people dictating to me. What a load of shit, yeah? Mate, that's where the real truth comes from. That's exactly where it is. And that's why I'm so pissed about some of these peanuts. And when I look at the news, which I very rarely look at it because it is so annoying, about people that don't give a shit until they're in front of a camera or they've got some kind of microphone in front of them. They're just talking shit, and I don't believe a word that they say. Absolutely don't believe a word they say. I go and do my own research myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, Ken, and mate, you're spot on. I couldn't agree more. And a lot of you guys listening or watching this, like we get fired up about this sort of stuff because this is real life. It's time in the game. And Ken is spending time in the fucking game. And the game is life. The game is living the greatest life you can and leading that by example. And I feel blessed that we have someone like Ken who has such a wealth of knowledge and leadership, but is incredibly humble at the same time, instead of these people at times who have just such big holes in their game, but they still believe they should be on some sort of pedestal and be glorified as the answer. And again, this is not an attack on any one person. This is energy. Life is energy, Ken. And like you said before, I have fucking zero respect for the news and mainstream media. I've got some good friends who are in the media who have great hearts and they play an important role for what they're invested in, and they're in the right place in their intentions. But as a whole, it's not about the information that's being put out. I see energy. That's my skill set I've developed over many years, personally, professionally, spiritually, in relationships. And that's what I see. When I'm looking through energy, the energy I see that's driven from the fucking idiot box, which my dad used to call it, still does, is fear. No one wins from that. You are growing or dying chemically, cellular level, at a spiritual level, at an emotional level, at an intelligence level. There is no the same. If you stay the same, you're assuming that the conditions, the environment, the landscape of the world will stay the same. Bullshit. You're in your 40s, life's great, awesome. I've got a couple of kids, we're going on holidays with this, and that, and then you no longer grow. All of a sudden, the missus is growing. She's expanding who she is. She's investing in herself. All of a sudden, there's a disconnect. And this is what happens. Like you can't do this, Ken, and think that you're going to get away with it. The hard part is many do because of the money they get, which creates luxuries, which creates the position for them to hide away or disappear, especially with saturation in the medical game of different papers, different views, different opinions, and different practices. But ultimately, the truth always wins, mate. It's like right now, like I can't go out helping fathers with their relationships, their marriages, if I'm not living and breathing it myself too. Me and my wife have a phenomenal relationship. We still clash, we still fight. It's phenomenal because there's respect, there's purpose and understanding for those clashes on where we stand, which means that collision brings connection. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but again, we need to practice what we preach here. And you are the embodiment of that, Ken, when it comes to complete health and that time in the game that you spend, which is the game of life. And I hope you guys are really understanding as we start to wrap this up that this is what it's about. And we don't want followers either. Like you guys listening to this or watching this, you are cut from a different cloth. If you stop listening or some of the things challenge your worldview, that's okay. Make sure you step back and have a real fucking long, hard look at yourself and ask yourself, why am I triggered? Or why do I feel like I need to question this? Or why do I feel a little bit uneasy at times? I've had members come on board who didn't like some of my podcast episodes till they opened up their perspective and started to change their own position of life and where we're looking at, which for us, Ken, it's out of love, mate. A love for growth and living life and being a real fucking leader. So you guys listening to this or watching this, I don't want you to follow me. I want you to lead with me. I want you to lead with me and Ken. I want you to be leaders with us. We're not here for followers. I'm not here for fans. I'm not here to be a fucking influencer on Instagram with 100,000 followers saying, hey, buy this shampoo this week. Here's my fucking kickback. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, it really is. And I feel blessed that we are together, Ken, but it's because we express this energy that we naturally draw in the right people, which is why we've got a phenomenal team and a phenomenal culture here across the board of all our different membership types. This is a movement. Just to wrap this up, Ken, this has been an epic episode, mate. I'm over the moon with this episode, and I'll definitely listen to it again because it charges me for the rest of the week to focus on what's most important. Focusing on the most important thing. Let's get these men who are listening to this and watching who may not be on the inside. Let's get them moving forward, mate. What does that look like, Ken? Time invested. Like when we're talking about, let's go level 1. As we wrap this up, physical, chemical, emotion. What can they do over the next 7 days? Rinse and repeat 4 times. What does that look like? 3 days a week, 5 days a week, breath work, movement, stretching. I know we're coming out with some challenges. We've got some awesome things for you guys coming out soon, some different courses and things we're going to release. But my big thing with our episodes, Ken, is action. Let's get them moving. So as we wrap this up, my man, talk to me. What level 1? Let's get them moving. Show us a week of what they should be doing right now to improve.
So that's a great finishing point there. What we want to do is really implement, and we'll get the videos up on board. But right now, you want to be so that it's in your face. Just take a photo of what you're consuming, as in liquid and solid during the day. So from now, every time you put something in your mouth, obviously food or liquid form, take a photo and have a look at the end of the day. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to create a lifestyle change, lifestyle habits, and that's what's important. We're trying to really, really start to get you to understand what whole food is and what it looks like. If it grows in a tree or out of the ground, I get it. These things here is a great way to start. Take a photo of that, have a look at the end of the day, then do it every time because everyone's got a phone, no doubt. And at the end of the week, have a look at what it is. Have a look at what you're consuming at the end of the week. Is 80% of that whole food or not? That's the first thing. The other thing that we want to do, as far as just one real simple thing, is if you've got access to YouTube, what you can do is bring up diaphragmatic breathing, or you'll get it off I'll send it through, and they can have a look at the diaphragmatic breathing and just spend of a night time before you go to sleep. There's 3 minutes of this diaphragmatic breathing. Real simple. And we're going to implement this into our August 30-day challenge, and that's what we'll do. But remember, and what we've already spoken about, it's not just about a 30-day challenge here. But what I want you to do is create a habit. So then once we get through this first 30 days, then we'll implement something in the second one. And then we'll in the second 30 days, then the third 30 days. And what we're trying to do is create lifestyle habits. Remember, it's not what you do in a day or a week or a month. It's what we do over 12 months and then beyond. So this is what we're building here, is something that's going to help your everyday life out over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months and beyond that. So from that side of things, that's where we'll get into literally the meditation, which is obviously the breathing side of things. They're the 2 things that we're going to implement straight away. And then you'll be able to access from the videos that we're going to upload by the end of the day.
Yeah, great start, Ken. Like getting your breathing right and getting you just in a relaxed and calm state. That's going to help with last week's episode. Make sure you guys log into that if you missed it, talking about sleep, rejuvenating the body. I break it down as 1,000 minutes a day. If you sleep 7 hours and 20 minutes, it gives us a nice round number of literally 1,000 minutes a day or a week over the 24-hour period, which means a lot of these guys, instead of going to bed at 9:30, they go to bed at 11 o'clock. It's like, man, that's 90 minutes. That's only 9% of the day. But is that 9% of the day moving you forward for the next 1,000 minutes, moving you forward so you can hit the next 1,000 minutes at 100%? Or is it taking you away? This is playing the percentages and being smart. So something as simple as, shit, man, what would it be? Like 7 minutes a day of what you're talking about, some diaphragmatic breathing and just realigning your body and being in a calm state as you go to bed. That's huge. Then from there, I love nature. I love things that really slow us down, Ken. That's why I really enjoy journaling. I don't journal 500 pages every day or write, for an hour what I'm grateful for. That's not bagging you out. I'm a smart ass at times, but there are a lot of vanilla approaches to go, hey, what are you grateful for? And just gets flogged as shit. But really, our thoughts are faster than the speed of light. So it's pretty important to slow them down. And when you're writing, I haven't met anyone yet that can write as fast as they think. So it forces you to slow down, which is why I enjoy something like journaling. But nature as well, the significance of it, it's great. You look out at the waves or the mountains, or you see the birds, or you see trees, or you see rock formations, anything, mate. You see the desert. It's massive, man. Like, it's way bigger than you and me as an energy source. So that's quite a significant thing, which helps us understand that, you know what, our problems aren't that big. And even the biggest problems we have, they're always solved with the smallest solution. If you feel like your marriage is on the brink, fucking hell, man, do this breathing exercise, do some sleep work, or do the last week's episode, do some breath work, do a little bit of meditation, listen to the podcast All Loved Up to get understanding about your love languages so you can create connection with your wife better, so you can communicate what you desire better. Those two things alone, I've had so many guys contact me already say, mate, things have already turned around. I've had members join because of those alone, because they obviously see that that's the outside. Shit, imagine when you're on the inside. But great session, Ken, and a couple of amazing pieces of advice. I'm looking forward to some of these challenges we're going to be rolling out for the guys. They really are tune-ups, whether it's mobility. It's not doing 3,000 push-ups. It's really to tune yourself up as an organism, and everything you do physically, well, it affects you mentally, hence physical, chemical, emotional. But any last points or anything you want to share as we wrap this up, Ken? This has been an amazing episode, mate.
No, mate, it's just, I really think that, again, I know we do, like, I do get a little bit emotional about stuff, but I mean, it's really difficult because the biggest things in life are really simple, with exactly what you were saying about just something as simple as breathing techniques, starting to take control. And it really, you don't have to worry about what everyone else is doing. You need to be in charge. You need to start to sift through the shit. And you just need to really, at the end of the day, take control and ask questions. And if at the end of the day, if you don't know what questions to ask, next time you go and see a health professional, listen, tap into us and we'll give you the questions to ask. It's really what's most important. If you don't have the tools to try and improve your life or your quality of life, well, then what's the purpose? You really do need to ask these questions, and you just need to be in control.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, time and energy, mate, two things you never get back when they're intertwined together, Ken, and which is why there's such an importance on this. There really is. And what you all want listening to this, you want freedom. That's what we want more often than not. It's deep inside our core, and freedom is a byproduct of what Ken said, control. But control the things you can control inside yourself first. And what that creates when you take the right actions is certainty of where you're going. And all of that builds a foundation of stability, which is what relationships, your wife, yourself, your children, everyone wants that, because on the foundation of stability, you can take risks and come back and you'll be okay. You can expand your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and your actions, and know that you'll be okay, whether it's learning, whether it's failing, whether it's losing, whether it's winning. And that's the gift of life, because it gives you freedom to leverage yourself to create experiences. And like Ken said, have purpose. Hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a phenomenal episode. Thanks again for joining us, Ken, and looking forward to next week's, mate. It's going to be another cracker.